non-metals and metalloids? We can look. Metal is one kind of, or one classification of, or one criteria of elements. And these metals have luster, metallic luster. These metals have metallic luster. Then you need to know what is metallic luster or what is luster. Luster simply means if we cut a metal into two pieces or a metal is broken, then the broken part brightens, or the broken part have a shiny nature, it shines. That property is called metallic luster. When you are buying a new substance or a new object which is made up of metal, you know that this very bright or it shines. By using it again and again, this shining nature disappears and it becomes dull. When that same object is broken into pieces using some axo blades or any other means, or using a cutting machine, you can see that the cut portion or the broken part shines again. That's what called metallic luster. That is a property of metallic luster. Only metal shows this property. That is why it is called metallic luster. Metals can conduct heat and electricity. You know that metals are good conductors of heat and electricity. When a metal substance is kept in fire, when holding in our hand, then surely our hand will burn. How? The metal conducts heat from one end to another. That simply means it is a good conductor of heat. Metals are always a good conductor of heat. Like the same way they are good conductors of electricity too. By metal pieces from one end to another, electricity can travel. That means it can conduct electricity very well. Metals are very good conductors of electricity too. They are malleable, ductile, and sonorous. These are very important properties of metals. They are malleable, ductile, and sonorous. What is the property named malleability? Then ductility, then sonority. What these properties are? I define one by one. First one is malleable, that is malleability. It is a property of metals that it can be made into thin sheets. It can be made into thin sheets. That's the property of malleability. Clear? Metals can be made into thin sheets. By using a hammer or any other means, we can make the metal pieces like this into sheets, thin sheets. This is the property named as malleability. The next is ductility. What is ductility? Metals can be made into thin wires or thin structures. That's what called ductility. It can be made into thin wires and stretched like small thin wires. That's what ductility, and it's the property of metals. And metals are sonorous. What is sonority? Sonority means when we tap on a metal, it makes sound. When we tap on a metal, it makes sound. When a metal piece is kept in my hand and when I tap on that metal piece, it will make sound. That property is sonority. That property is sonority. Clear? These are the properties of metals. Remember these terms: metallic luster, malleability, ductility, and sonority. 4 terms: metallic luster, malleability, ductility, and sonority. What is metallic luster? The shining nature of metals. What is malleability? Metals can be made into thin sheets. Then ductility, it can be drawn into thin wires, wire-like. Then when we tap on a metal surface, it will make sound. That's what called sonority. When going to non-metals, non-metal doesn't have this malleability, ductility, luster, or sonority. It doesn't show any malleability, ductility, or sonority. Non-metals do not show this property. And non-metals are not conductors of heat and electricity. Non-metals cannot conduct heat or electricity. And the third one, metalloids, is the classification among elements which is in between the properties of metals and non-metals. Metalloids are the classification in elements which lies in between the characteristics of metals and non-metals. In between metals and non-metals, there exists a classification named as metalloids. Is it clear? Now moving to compounds, the next is, first one is element, and when moving to compounds, compounds are pure substances. These are pure substances which may be constituting two or more than two elements, which combine together in a fixed proportion. That means two or more elements combined together in a fixed proportion constitute a compound. The nature of compound is not same as the constituent elements, or the character of the compound is not same as the constituent elements. A compound formed from two or three elements may vary in character from that constituent elements, or it shows another character from that of elements. Then how will we define a compound? A compound is simply pure substance made up of two or more elements combined in a fixed proportion. Clear? Two or more elements combined together in a fixed proportion constitute a compound. And remember one more thing, this compound may not have the similar property of the elements combined. The characteristics of compound may vary from that of elements. Okay, clear? That's what about the matter and the classification element compounds. Clear? From elements, you remember metals, non-metals, and metalloids. It may be a question. Distinguish between metals and non-metals, or define in one sentence metals, non-metals, and metalloids. May be a question. So when we are asking differentiate between metals and non-metals, remember these four terms: luster, malleability, ductility, and sonority. These are the properties of metals. Clear? Metalloids is a group which lies in between metals and non-metals. They are also elements. Okay. Then what we say about compounds? These are pure substances combined of two or more elements in a fixed proportion. I think it's clear to you. Okay. Then our next topic, matter can be classified as, we already told that matter can be classified as pure substances and mixtures. In pure substances, we discussed about the elements and the properties of elements and the classification of elements as metals, non-metals and metalloids. Then we discussed about compounds. The next topic under our concern is mixtures. So we have to define mixture and what is the properties of mixture and any importance of this classification. Okay, dear ones, we explained the metals, non-metals and metalloids and its characters, then compounds, elements. Now we are moving to our next topic under consideration, which is called mixtures. A mixture contains two or more elements or compounds which are mixed together in any proportion. In compounds, two or more elements are combined together in a fixed proportion. Remember, in a fixed proportion, not the point. But here in mixtures, two or more elements or compounds are mixed together in any proportion, not in a fixed proportion, but in any proportion, no matter what the proportion is. If we are combining two or more compounds or elements, then these togetherly called as a mixture. No matter what the proportion is, no worry about that. In any proportion, we can mix two or more elements or two or more compounds to form a mixture. From a mixture, no new compound is formed. Also, that is an important point. From a mixture, no new compound is formed. When two or more elements are combined together, there forms a new compound. The character or property of that new compound may not be the same as that of elements. It may vary from the properties of the combining elements. But here in mixtures, no new compound is formed. Therefore, a mixture shows the properties of constituent substances. If three substances A, B and C combine together to form a mixture ABC, then the mixture ABC has the property of A, B and C. From A, B and C, no new compounds are formed. The mixture formed has the property of A, B and C respectively. That's an important point to be noted. No new compound is formed from mixtures and the property of mixture is not different